Hello again, Fleet Commanders. Tiberius here. Gonna do another quick video for you. I'm also doing a live stream. If you happen to be on Twitch right now, feel free to hop in and see if I can answer any live questions you might have. But today's topic is going to be away team missions and more specifically officer traits and the trait XP, which is a rare commodity and definitely something that if you don't prioritize how you use it is definitely going to set you back considerably. So let's start with away teams. We're currently doing an away team event right now for the Battle Pass. So, variety of away team missions depending on how you've leveled up your shuttle bay will give you more slots to hold more missions. Obviously, there's common, uncommon, rare, and epics. Uh, Uncommons here typically require tier 1 traits for the most part. Rares require some tier 1 and tier 2 traits, and yeah, or uncommon officers only have one trait, and it's a tier 1 ability. We'll take a look at some of those real quick. What if we do by rarity? So, like these guys have no traits. Uncommon officers have one trait. Rare officers have a second trait. These progressively get more expensive to upgrade. But the payouts from missions and things are also better. And then epic officers have three traits. So there are some handy dandy tools that really make your life a lot easier. Highly suggest that you use them, and that's what we're gonna cover here in just a second. So let me pull up the first one, which is, let's just talk about the traits I just mentioned. So let's pull this over here so you can see it. So tier 1 traits, there's three level spots. This costs 8,000 XP to max out. Not that bad. Um, as you can see a little further up, every day you get a daily away team mission. Depending on what your ops level is, you'll have different trait XP and stuff available to you. But at the higher level, the max it gets to be is 1150 per day for doing your daily. There is an away team mission that does give some additional trait XP, but not a common one. Doesn't show up very often. I think I see it about once a month. I notice it, and then it's kind of throw everything you can at it to try and hit it to get the extra bonus. Lots of tier 1 officers. Lots of people have these skills. Engineer and scientist are probably the most common, and warrior are pretty common. Assimilated is pretty much every Borg has assimilated. You get into your tier 2. These are your rare traits, not necessarily just on rare officers. A lot of epic officers have some of these traits, but you start to get a little bit more common. Start to get a little more selective here with a few things. And then tier 3 are your hardest to obtain traits. Those are the ones that are going to cost the most XP sort of to unlock. So as we mentioned, 8,000 to get through the first tier to unlock to get you to the second trait. So then you can start working on that. That'll cost you another 29,500 trait XP. So you're looking at 37.5 before you can even get to that third tier trait. And as we pointed out, you only get 1150 per day. Where's my handy dandy calculator? So if we're doing 3750 divided by 1150 per day, it basically would take you a month, 32 and a half days to get enough trait XP to get giving it all to the same officer to get to that third trait, and then you need 10,000 just to unlock that next trait. So 500 plus the 10,000 there divided by 1150. Now you're 42 days before you can even unlock that third trait to start getting that extra bonus for your away team assignments. And just in case you're curious, what does it take to fully max one officer all the way? 281 days, which is 9 1/3 months, give or take. So yeah, basically you could do like one guy a year. Um, occasionally we do get some extra bonuses. Like I said, there is an away team mission that will cover that does give trait XP. But thanks to this guy NCC 1887 for doing the math here and putting together this little chart. He does have a chart here as well of the away team missions, which you can zoom in on. It looks a little bit like this, but there's also a away team tool that I find is a little easier to read, and it gives you some more options to play around with. It's got a bunch of different drop downs, but if you prefer just a straight up chart, well, here you go. He does have that available on the site as well, right there for you to pick up. Now let's hop back in game for a second. Repair that while we're chatting. So we talked about away team missions. Obviously, they come from upgrading your shuttle bay, which costs a considerable amount of resources the higher that you get. But different missions require different skills, and given that trait XP is rare, you kind of have to pick and choose which rewards you're trying to aim for. If you're just trying to get away team credits here, okay, some decent chances of hitting some crits. There's certain officers you can focus on who have multiples of these skills. So as you build them up, you're really just leveling up like one key officer. Like in pull this particular one here, I think Nero lines up with two of the traits. So maybe he'd be a guy that you'd want to invest in to try and get yourself the away team credits. Away team credits as you level, the rewards get better, not just level wise, but also faction wise. If you come over here to the old away team store, you can get reputation, but more importantly, as your reputation grows, the blueprints for ships that are available to you in your faction store also become available to you in your away team store. So I'm currently working on getting shards for a USS Kelvin. It costs about $39.50 per blueprint. You can only do it once a day. Um, you can do more if you have a bigger chunk of away team. Like 39.50 gets you one, and then I think it's like 8,500 gets you two. Um, so you do have those options. Look at like the Hydra here. So 36.50 for one, or it's 11,000 for two. And if I want to get 3 blueprints a day, it would cost me 18,000 credits, which is like 5 times the cost of this. So you get 2 extra at 5 times the cost. That's you know typical kind of Scopely math. Same thing for all the other factions. Depending on what your rep is, you can get different blueprints for all these. You can get Valdors, and I'm level 41 here, getting close to 42. Do have my faction up with Fed and Romulan, so I do have the option for some of these other ship blueprints. And the Kelvin's one I've chosen to go after. We're going to save. I know it kind of was a I'm screwed either way kind of situation, because either it was go, Valdor and Pelham. Pelham's kind of the ship you want at 46, right? It's one Rev talks about in his videos that he just did not too long ago, and most people seem to agree is the strongest of the level 46 ships, is the Pelham. So your options are basically, and the Valdor is kind of one of the better ships too. So it's either go double Romulan and just need a crap ton of Romulan credits to get all the blueprints. You're looking at like 400,000 for the Pelham and another like 200,000 for the Valdor. It's like 600,000 Romulan credits. Or your options are go with something else, like go with a Kelvin and get blueprints for that, and but then you're doing double interceptor. So really, I think the ideal thing is actually Klingon Romulan. Do the Klingon ship, the Katinga, the battleship at 42, and then do the Pelham at 46. But that's not the way my rep broke out. So, and again, that'll all change as more people keep getting Pelhams, then more people will get Coronars or whatever to destroy them, play the triangle game. So, or the devs will shift stuff. But we're talking about away teams still. So if you're on Discord, there is another Discord platform. Let's see if I have it up. Yep. Drag that over here for you. there's this wonderful STFC officer tool Discord hosted by Stewie Doo, and he has a wonderful spreadsheet that we're going to look at in a minute that actually breaks some of the stuff down a lot easier. There is a link, Discord. I don't know if you can put that code in. Otherwise, you can just, try and get someone to send you the link to join. I might post this link in the chat on YouTube in the comments, so that way anybody who wants to join the Discord, get access to the link. There's only about 2,000 people. Oh, actually, that's 2,000 people who are online. So obviously, a few thousand people are using this. They certainly can get, if you have a friend or something who can send you the link. There you go, 20,000 members. So obviously, a big, very helpful tool. And thanks to Stewie for putting this together. But let's look at that tool. We're going to drag it over here. So it is a Google Doc spreadsheet here. Lots of different tabs where he breaks down different rosters and officers and things. And we'll look at this in a second. So I think the easiest way is to figure out what your focus is. If I'm trying to build a Kelvin and I need Federation credits to buy blueprints, the easiest way to figure out what officers I'd want to invest time and resources in would be to find guys who are going to help me get Federation credits, right? So on the away team and traits analysis chart here, you can look for specific traits, you can look for specific officers by name if you want, but I find it best to just look by mission rewards. What do I need? I need Federation credits. And here are the missions that will give me those credits. So we'll start with the bottom one, research and development. If you just go back over to this other tab, select away team mission, that's the mission that I'm hoping to get, research and development. Again, it's kind of random how you get assigned missions, things like that. I mean, it's Scopely, so nothing's really random in terms of what missions you get. But so primary reward are away team credits. Critical reward for this mission is faction credits. It is a rare mission, and it does require defense as the stat to trigger it. If you're looking at what you need for traits, scientist tier 1, there's 12 different guys who have scientist. Charismatic and physicist are tier 2. Focused is the tier 3. Only one officer has focused, which you can see right there, is Carol. But as you look over a little bit more, you see Carol's name shows up quite a bit here. She has physicist, scientist, and focused. So Carol would be an officer I would want to invest heavily in. We'll go back into the game for a second. I think she actually may be on an away mission right now. Let's just see if Carol's available. Oh, yeah, Carol's on a mission right now. But we can see Carol's an officer I have spent some time in. Scientist, physicist, focused are her traits. The more and more you get these up, the better your crit chance percentage will be when trying to do a mission. I think I just have, this one might be an uncommon at least. So crit chance for most missions kind of starts off pretty low. For some of the uncommon missions, you can just put anybody in, and it'll give you like 10%. But for rares and for epic missions, you need guys who have the matching traits to get any type of bonus. So in this case, warrior is Marcus, so I can add Marcus. It gives me an extra 5% at only having the first thing unlocked. Charvanek, she's at level 2. It will only give you the trait that lines up, whoever has the highest. So these guys both have warrior. It doesn't stack them. It just goes, oh, Charvanek has warrior 2. That supersedes his warrior 1. So that's what goes there. She gives me another 5%. I can actually take him out now. Still stays at 20%. And things like that. And obviously you can see the people who are highlighted in blue who are available. If your guys are on away missions, it doesn't always show you what the traits that they have are. We're going to cancel that one because I don't want to send those guys out. I think Carol's probably on one of these. Let's see if I can figure out which mission did I waste her on. Oh, maybe she's on this data mission. Yeah, she's on this mission trying to get data shards. As you can see in epic mission, her physicist, which is level 2, which is actually her level 2 trait, only gave me 8%. Obviously, the higher the rarity of the mission, kind of the more traits you need to get higher crit percentages. I guess the theory being that you've got the higher rewards, right? So, but again, even just for doing the basic of this mission, I can get almost 800 away team credits. That's 1/5 of a blueprint. So uh, I will certainly take that, um, and I can obviously speed this up if better options come along. Uh, but you go back to the tool. I'll hop out of the game for a second here. So you can kind of use this to search for. Go back to all right. This is a rare mission, doesn't show up all that often. Maybe one of these other missions shows up a little more. Let's check this one, observing Kolinar. Go up to my search tool, pull the drop down, go find it, observing Kolinar. Okay, this is a rare mission with health. The critical reward is Federation credits. This one requires analytical, who has a bunch of people, dedicated, who also has a bunch of options to choose from, and then calculated, which is just these two. You don't see a lot of overlap here, though, in some of these abilities. There's not like one officer who's kind of sitting in both, uh, both tiers here. So not really an ideal mission unless you want to start spreading points around. Probably not the most effective way to do it. Maybe there's a better mission. First contact. Ideally, you'd find a mission that it's the primary reward, not the critical reward. And that would be the one that you'd be excited to be looking for. Again, critical reward, fed credits. This one's a bit more of a challenging one. You're one of your traits here, astronomer. There's only one officer in the game, which is Giorgio, who has that trait currently. Um, but you'll notice she does show up 2 other times here as explorer and captain. There's a handful of people who have the captain trait, only 2 with the explorer, and she's the only astronomer. So obviously Giorgio would be an officer to invest in. This is also an epic mission, so it's probably going to have a pretty good payout on it as well. Doesn't show that usually. And then your payout will increase based on your stats. So let's go back in game real quick and take a look at that. So I mentioned this earlier. So based on your stats here, this is a defense one. There's kind of a target goal that it has in mind. All right, I'm at 86% chance of reaching that based on his defense. But you'll notice when I get over 100 here, my multiplier goes up to 1.18, and this increases the rewards. Increases the rewards for the crit as well. So if we throw a couple of defense officers in there, we get it up. Now we're up over 2, so 2 times the rewards. All of these stats have increased. And that's what you want to do. Obviously, find the people with the right skills, kind of level them up. It really does force you to divest a lot of your resources because you want to have a lot of officers, not just for your ships and for your lower decks. Now you need them for your away team missions as well. You're going to need a lot of officer experience, which is at least fairly more easy to come by, especially with certain systems you can kill stuff in and get large amounts of it. Also, as you max out your uncommon officers and your common officers, when you get more shards for them, it turns into officer XP, so you can pick up a little more that way. But it's a great tool to play around with to try and find it. Now, of course, the challenge is how often do these missions show up? As we saw from the full mission list that we saw on the other page, or even just looking down here, there's a good 60-ish missions available that can kind of show up, and it's not like you only get one copy of each mission. As we saw in my away team list, I have duplicates of some of these missions. Right? Armed escort, deep space reconnaissance, I've got duplicates. Lead expedition, I've got duplicates. Low orbit flyby, I get this one constantly. Um, and you can get the refresh options to try and speed it up, to try and roll the dice again. Hopefully you get a different breakdown of stuff, but Not always the easiest thing to do. They stopped giving this stuff out now. Uh, the away team speed ups and stuff, they really only come in the packs now. We used to get them as mission rewards or in battle pass rewards and things. What am I doing? I want to go to items. I think they're in other. There's trait XP. Assignment refresh tokens. I've got 216 left, and it costs 100 to do a refresh. And again, this is stuff they used to give out when we were doing the next generation arcs. They were in the battle pass. They were in the event rewards, and then they kind of built in the automatic refresh. When you finish a mission, it automatically refreshes, and you get a new one to replace it. Um, so they stopped giving out the refresh tokens, and making people just sort of have to complete a mission or wait for the twice a day resets. Or you have to go to the store when they're offering an away team pack, which, do they have one in here right now? Wouldn't surprise me. Hey, away team special elite bundle. What do we got in here? Lots of assignment speed ups. 48,000 trait XP. Wow, that's awesome. No, it's not, because as we just showed, to max out an epic officer, you need 323,000 experience points. This is like a sixth of the way there. Where'd that calculator go? 323,000 divided by 48. Yeah, take you what, six of those? So for $600, you could max out one epic officer with all their traits. I hope you picked the right one. Uh, some other decent stuff in here. Obviously, there's some epics that helps you with your researches. Officer XP for leveling people up. You get some speed ups to speed up your assignments, and then they give you some other resources as well. But you're buying this pack specifically for, the trait XP and kind of the, away team stuff. This is just really to sweeten the pot a little bit for you, make it a little more enticing. But it doesn't pop up all the time, and again, usually when it does, it's kind of limited. I don't know if they have any other away team bundles or anything in here right now. It doesn't look like it. This looks like just all the common generic stuff that we normally get. Yeah. So, like I said, I will leave the link to the Discord in the comments on YouTube so that way you can find it and join Stewie Doo. Big thanks to him for putting all this together, for maintaining it. You can save a copy of it, but things do get updated from time to time, so constantly just go back to the Discord and get the fresh one. Um, and then, yeah, figure out what reward it is that you need, and then kind of specialize and angle yourself in or funnel yourself towards getting rewards that match that. Obviously, there's a variety of rewards. 3-star, 4-star material, active nano probes is a big one for leveling up certain officers. Only comes from one mission, collective bargaining. Collective bargaining gives inert nanoprobes, and the critical reward is to get active nanoprobes. And here you're looking at assimilated, which a lot of Borg, almost all the Borg have. I think all the Borg have assimilated. Minor is about half the Borg officers, and then Fluffy, being the Tribble, is the only one there. So he's the one you'd want to invest in, because as you go through him, he kind of, uh, you know, tiers up and is going to get you the higher crit rate to get you more likely to hit the reward of getting the active nanoprobes. But again, it really makes you prioritize. What's my goal? What resources can't I get as easily other ways? Fed credits you can get doing your daily missions. You get some Fed credits doing your Latinum. I'm sorry, your Borg refinery options. You can convert and get 600 credits a day there as well. Some of this other stuff you get maybe some enterprise blueprints or whatnot. Officer shards. But trait XP is the one. Officer training is the only one that gives it. And this would be the ideal mission. But again, I only see this one like once a month. It seems to only be the time it comes up for me. Uh, and it's an uncommon health mission, and the primary reward is trait XP. So when that's the case, you just throw your three biggest health officers at it, kind of max out as much as you possibly can, get that multiplier working, cash in on that trade XP, get 4, 5, 6,000 hopefully, to really speed things up and get you 4 or 5 days extra worth of experience to help build up an officer. Uh, Critical reward is away team credits, which are nice, but there's a lot of other ways to get those, as we saw. So Newton blueprints, planet site shipyard. Haven't seen that one yet. Is there one for the Kelvin? Is there one for Kelvin blueprints? No, only for the rare and epic ships, it looks like. Yep, Pelham blueprints. You probably have to be a higher level to get some of these missions too. I think we can see that on the drop down as well. Some of these are, there's different tiers depending on whether you're below Ops 30 or Ops 34. There's different missions with slightly different requirements. But it looks like, thankfully, it's based more on Ops level, not necessarily on the level of your shuttle bay. Should still be something you want to invest some time in leveling up if you can, because obviously it gets you not only does do weapon damage bonus, but also gets you a service award cost efficiency for your research, help lower the cost of those guys. All right. Well, I think that's going to cover everything I wanted to. Thank you guys very much for watching along, and hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure and hit like, follow, subscribe, all that fun stuff, to get more of my other Star Trek Fleet Command content. And I'll see you guys around the galaxy.